take a couple of seconds for your Facebook page and everything else to kind of catch up to what's going on.
Okay.
So you should start getting your notifications to your phones. I have no idea where my phone is, and I think it's probably going to start ringing.
This is what happened. This happened last time.
Did it?
Yeah, it was in your pocket last time.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where it is now.
Oh, there we are.
You know where it is? It's in my hoodie. So wherever I took my black hoodie off, I might get it.
This is exactly a story we had last time.
Is
Matt.
it?
Yeah.
If
I'll go check for you.
Somebody did have their volume on their phone, so just make sure you turn your volumes down on your phone, or I get an echo in the headset. And I can see some people starting to tune in. You're tuning in here to the Cast at Glocker. We're live on Glocker Realty and Insurance Facebook page. We're also live on Glocker Realty and Insurance on YouTube. Don't forget that we're looking for those subscribers over on YouTube channel. In addition to episodes of the Cast at Glocker, you'll also find some of the awesome listing videos that we've been doing for our listings. If you want a real estate company that's going to give you a premium listing package, I highly recommend going over to the YouTube channel and checking out what we're doing.
Here I come to save the
Thank
day.
you, Jeff Frederick. Another one of our wonderful. No, that's not mine.
Nope.
That's
Okay.
That's somebody
You were
else's.
close.
That's all right. If we can, I just worried that it's gonna start ringing or something while we're in the middle of the show.
Then we'll find the phone.
Yeah.
So this is the Cast at Glocker. Today we're at the Boyertown Historical Society. What street is this?
This is 43 South Chestnut Street in Boyertown, PA.
And
Downtown Boyertown.
This is a church, right? This was a church.
It was a church.
What was it? St. Columkille's.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was the library.
Yeah.
No?
No. Yep.
It's-
Then it was the Historical Society.
Then it was the Historical Society.
Yep.
Okay.
But first
And
it
we are
was the
sitting in the
mansion.
Historical Society Library, correct?
Yes.
This is where we're doing the program.
Right.
Yeah.
On Chestnut Street,
Yes.
next to the Colebrookdale Railroad.
Yes.
Couldn't get any more. We're in a very historic locale.
And it looks like a church from the front of the building.
right.
Yeah.
In the historic downtown borough of Boyertown.
Exactly.
Well, it's business up front and pleasure in the back. It's like a mullet.
That's right. That is our friend Eugene Kehler from Pennsylvania Craftsmen Construction Company. He's our guest today, along with the ladies from the Historical Society. So, Gene, why don't you kick things off by introducing yourself and telling everyone who's watching a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do?
Well, like you said, I'm Gene Kehler from Pennsylvania Craftsmen Construction Company, and we do barn and home restorations, repairs, fix them, build them, good old stuff, making them come back alive or just keep them from falling down. Whatever people want done. That's what we do.
Now, when you're doing these restorations, are you going and sourcing historic lumber? Like, are you using old stuff, or is it a blend of the old and the new? How are you pulling off these historic looks?
A lot of times they don't want the old put back in because they
Okay.
can't afford it.
I
It's
got
really
you.
hard to find.
Okay.
So we end up doing like a green sawn lumber. It's new lumber, but dimensional, the same size, but
Same look, everything like that.
not hand hewn. A lot of it, it's just sawn, sawn on a regular circular saw, but really big.
Yeah,
circular
yeah.
saw.
Did
So,
they do a mock hand hewn?
What do you mean by mod?
Like machine made, but it looks like it was done by hand.
If you buy like that, the old '80s fiberglass ones you had in your basement.
No, I mean like a real block of wood. Did they try to replicate that at all?
No, not like with a machine. Like
Okay.
we've done it.
Mhm.
We've actually.
But you
I
have actually,
Yeah,
I
I've got
think
all
they
the
call
cool
it
old tools.
distressing.
yeah.
You distress.
Yeah, you get the
the
machine to
wood.
cut it, and then you go and
Yeah,
patch it
well,
up a little
distressing
bit.
is more like the cheesy, like smack it with hammer kind of look.
Okay.
So that's kind of distressing. But the
Okay.
hand hewing is like the chop marks in the beam, and it's a lot of work.
yeah.
So, I mean, we've done it a few times to try and make it because they wanted the beam to look, but they didn't. We couldn't find the beam long enough or
Right.
the right size or dimension. So we've taken the old axe and then the hewer and done it. So,
Have you ever done that? Have you ever hand hewn a log?
yeah, we've done it a couple times where we actually took like a round log and chopped it, or an old half round floor joist
Mhm.
where they're flat on top and round on the side, but we need to square them.
Yeah.
So then we take the axe and go. Well, actually, we used chainsaws because it was quicker.
Right.
Or, you know, a little easier.
So
And then used the axe and chopped it and made the
cool.
marks.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So one time I made shingles with a fro. You know what a fro is?
Yeah.
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 So we got these round logs and demonstrated how to make roofing shingles with a hammer. Well, actually, is a mallet and a fro,
Mhm.
and cut the shingles by hand.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It really gives you the idea and the feeling of what our ancestors went through in order to make all of this stuff, right?
Yeah, and just really when you get down to it, in my opinion, all the work they went to survive. Because
Right.
it wasn't like now, like, well, you know, you go out to Walmart and get what you need or the grocery store.
Yeah, there was no option.
No, I
It
mean,
was just,
basically,
you do it or not.
yeah, you look at the barns and these houses and these farms around, you know, when you really, if you look back, when they showed up to like make that their property, it was woods. Most
Right,
of them. They had to
right.
cut all the trees down, you know, pull all the stumps out, turn it into what it is, hand dig the foundation of your basement. So they were doing it by hand. We had machines.
Right.
Show up with the excavator, make a big hole. It's kind of cool, real easy. Well, they were out there with like their wooden shovels
with the
and
shovel.
stuff, with their little.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe
and
like a plow or an ox, like
probably
dragging
breaking
something.
the
Yeah,
ground,
yeah.
taking all the rocks, putting them off to the side. You know, I mean, they went through a lot of work, and that was to survive.
Right.
Because how else were they? It wasn't like they had any place to live,
Sure.
so they were making their home. So there's a ton of work when it goes into it.
My
Right.
grandfather hand dug his basement.
Did he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't just him. I think he had his brother.
Yeah,
coming
like a
up.
work
Yeah.
gang with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive because it's
Yeah.
a lot of digging.
A lot of digging, and you think about how many stones they had to gather.
Yeah.
I mean, most of those old buildings are 18-inch wide stone walls, and you figure like a house that goes all the way up to the gable. The whole, all four walls are always stone. Where a barn, they might not be. They might only go up a certain way, and the rest is wood. But
Right.
that's a lot of stone to have to
Yeah.
gather up, especially when you're using like some rickety wooden wheelbarrow you made, or dragging them out of the
Yeah,
field
you didn't
with
go
your
to the
horse.
quarry or anything. Get a
Yeah.
dump truck to dump them off for you.
Yeah, and then
It's
you had to
crazy.
make your own mortar because you weren't going to Home Depot to pick it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of a pain
It's
in
all
the butt.
crazy. I mean, you think it would take them like years and years and years, but I think they did it in a timely manner.
Yeah, I mean, it might take them like a year or so to get it put together, but they
Right.
would have groups of people too show up, or one builder guy that knew what he was doing, and a bunch of people would show up and help him stand them up. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
it was pretty amazing when you look back at it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you are from Boyertown area, right? You were kind of born and raised.
Yeah, well, Bechtelsville, but I guess it's considered Boyertown.
Okay.
So
Well, you know, Bechtelsville is its own thing, so you gotta like, you know, give props to the hometown,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
yeah,
I
back
would-
when Bechtelsville, that little pond behind, well, pond or whatever it was.
Yeah,
there,
behind the firehouse.
yeah, back when that was actually had water in it, not just like trees and swamp.
Okay. Yeah. And so you were from Bechtelsville. You went to Boyertown Area School District.
Mhm.
And how did you? I asked you before the show, but I think it's worth repeating. How did you decide to get started in becoming a carpenter? I guess that's the easiest way to describe what you do. Is you're a carpenter, right?
Yeah, I mean, glorified. Yeah, I'm just, I guess it's timber framer or a carpenter. But
Okay.
there's no listing ever for timber framer.
Gotcha.
So,
Right.
carpenter.
It just goes down as carpentry.
Yeah.
How did you decide to get involved in that?
Well, I got out of high school, you know, graduated, and of course you need a job. I didn't go to tech school because I didn't think I really needed it. You know,
Mhm.
I didn't really had no clue what I was going to do. Well, I sort of did. I wanted to become a cop, but that didn't work out.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm looking into wanted ads back in the day of the Mercury, you know.
Yeah,
I looked
yeah.
through and looked for jobs, and right up the road was a company that did pretty much the same thing that I do, only they stored the beams and cut them, resawed them, made flooring, and yeah, I applied to the job and actually walked up to apply to the job.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was like right down the road from my mom's house at the time, and
Mhm.
I had a car, but why drive when you could just walk?
Right.
So I went up and got the job there, and I started pulling nails out of beams. in a
Okay.
hot field that rained, snow, sleet.
Right.
So that's what my job was, to like move the beams and pull all the nails out of them.
Right.
So that's
And
how
then
it
you
started.
kind of like work your way up. Now, did they have like some kind of apprentice or somebody take you under their wing? Like, how did they decide, all right, well, Gene's going to be our man to train moving forward? Like, what stopped them from just leaving you out in the field?
Pulling those nails because nobody else wants to pull those
Yeah,
nails.
right. Yeah.
I'm really glad they didn't leave me out in the field.
Yeah, right.
'Cause
So
that-
you must have shown some promise, right? Because they
I guess
rescued
it-
you.
yeah,
Man, he
One
pulled
day-
those nails
Yeah,
really,
one day
really
a guy
well.
came out with an umbrella in a
and
rainstorm and
handed
was
it
like,
to me
"Yeah,
and said,
Said,
"Here,
do you,
Gene,
yeah, do you
here's
want to
an
come
upgrade.
inside?"
You've done your time.
Here's your raise and bonus all in one."
Oh my
Right,
god.
right. So how do you
I-
make that transition?
I think everybody in the construction industry understands exactly what
Yeah.
we're talking about here. 'cause
Yeah.
They all start at the bottom. They do
Yeah.
the worst job possible
Right,
Right.
Yeah.
right.
at the
Yeah.
beginning. But
You're
go
the
ahead.
guy sweeping floors in the beginning. So, and well, it kind of worked out pretty good because they had a lot of demo jobs going on at the time.
Mhm.
It's like, you don't just jump into like, hey, I'm going to cut this like, beam that can't go to Home Depot again and get another one. So they kind of put me on demo for a while, and I was like the cleanup guy on demo, but I was really glad because I wasn't out in the field anymore.
Okay.
I was actually in the field working.
Okay.
So like you just kind of worked your way through, and they're like, "Wow, this guy shows some promise."
Mhm.
So because I was kind of young and dumb, and I'm like, well, "This is kind of a cool job." You know?
Right, right.
Who doesn't
You're
make
excited
fun?
about it, which
Yeah.
in any field, I think if you're excited about it, you're going to do a better job.
Yeah.
Did you get to meet a celebrity one time also?
Well, later on, yeah, we actually worked on a job for Robert De Niro. where
Oh,
we
yeah?
built him like a huge, like massive barn, and it had like an indoor pool and a movie theater, like a full-on movie theater in it, and a basketball court and all this other stuff. That the company I was working for at the time, they ended up doing that. But,
Did you tell Bobby D that you were the nail puller?
well, I only told Babe he wasn't very nice.
He wasn't really. He wasn't.
No, he wasn't very friendly about like, hey, how are you? Or it wasn't like that.
Nah.
He was like, just leave me alone. But he did have like pet pigs that ran around the property, which was kind of cool. Most people have dogs, and he had pigs, so that was cool. But yeah, I mean,
It's
I just worked
disappointing
my
that,
way up through.
that he wasn't a nice guy.
So then you work your way up through, you learn your chops, and then at what point in time do you decide that you have enough skill and knowledge to go out onto your own and start doing this?
Because
Because
this is your
now-
own business that we're
Right.
This is
talking
my-
about.
yeah.
Yes.
How if I mess up, it's on me. I was going to use
Right.
another word, but we're not on a job site. If I mess up, it's on me. Like, it's a whole different responsibility when you screw something up in your business.
yes, and bidding it and everything else.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's a hit in your pocket because you got to finish the job no matter what.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It was just one of those. Her
Okay.
pushing me.
Okay.
She's like, you can do this yourself. Like,
Mhm.
you can do this yourself. You're good. Because I was always like, no, I'm just cool with like, I love what I do. And then I don't have to find the work. I just like showing up and I love doing it.
Mhm.
And then she kept pushing me. And I finally was like, all right, I can do this. And because I had a lot of like side jobs that I was doing. Because like we don't just do like old homes, just that. Like we actually have a deck on a newer home we're going to put on.
Right, right.
So like we kind of do some newer stuff too. But I was like all this side work, and it got to the point where I was like working 7 days a week over the holidays, just trying to keep up with the side jobs and keep everyone happy, plus the regular work.
I was the helper.
She was the
Okay.
helper many
Right,
times.
right.
And
And just so the viewers know, she is Rachel,
is
your
my
wife.
wife.
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry.
From the peppermint stick candy store. So if you go back to last week's episode, which is better watched on YouTube, you'll see us talking to Rachel.
Yes.
Yep. So that's kind of what got me out on my own. And then,
So did you work for the same company the whole time until you went on your own?
well, the one that I learned through, he ended up moving his company up to New York because that's where Robert De Niro was, and he thought he was going to make like a ton up there, but it didn't really work out for him. So when he moved, he's like, you guys can either come with me or you don't have a job anymore. So one of the other guys was like, well, you have a bunch of jobs. What are you going to do? He opened up his own company and started doing it. So I just kept working for him, and he kind of like was my best friend, and we worked together for 23 years now. Like we
Okay.
kinda been together for a long time. We're like best friends.
So at what point? How many years ago did that company move up to New York?
Gosh,
Probably
about-
over 20 because you
probably 20 at least.
Okay.
Probably 20. Yeah. Because I only worked for him for a couple years and started really getting knowledge in it.
Mhm.
And that's when he moved. And I was like,
Okay.
oh, man.
Okay.
So he had a bunch of guys that were like pretty old school and have done it for years and years and years, which was really cool to learn underneath them.
Mhm.
But they were getting older too, so they were looking for guys that were hungry to actually learn it because there's not too many guys that do it.
Mhm.
it's pretty tough on your body.
Right.
I've already blown out my rotator cuff and all that good stuff doing it, because those beams, like a 10 by 10 oak beam, is not light.
Right. Yeah, it's all heavy stuff.
And
Yeah.
over the years we've gotten machinery to help us, but in the beginning we didn't have the machines. We were the machines.
You were doing it.
You throw it up. If you could get it up on your shoulder, that's how you carried it. And then
Gotcha.
we would use block and tackle and ropes to kind of move it up. But it
Uh-huh.
was over the 15 years working for the other guy, not the first guy, but the second guy.
Mhm.
We worked together. It was just two of us building barns.
Oh, really?
I mean, we built complete barns, pretty much just two guys.
Mhm.
So,
Really?
Yeah. I'm still kind of that way. It's usually three of us. We kind of sub back and forth to each other.
So he
Like-
still has his own business, and now you have your own.
Yep.
as well.
And we just sub
you
back
work
and
together.
forth. Yep.
That's great.
because we're
Do you have people working for you now?
no, we just sub back and forth. We just use each other. It's
Okay.
just the two of us still doing our jobs, because he has his company and I have mine. He has his jobs he gets and I have mine, and then we just kind of back and forth with each other, because it's kind of hard to find people that want to do what we do. I mean, they want to, they love it, they think it's cool, until
they
they have
actually
to
do it.
pick that heavy beam up and carry it on their shoulder, and they can't pick it up. And
So
they're
you've
like,
had people work with you for you.
yeah, I mean, we've had guys come in and go, and they're like, I like my picking up 2x4s or 2x6s and carrying those, compared to 6x6 oak rough
Mhm.
sawn that it's about 300 pounds a beam. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, she yells at me because I just grab it, throw it up on my shoulder, and walk. She's like, "You're gonna hurt yourself." Been
You have
there,
that
done
muscle memory build up.
Yeah,
Plus, you got dad strength.
and Advil.
And
Advil, of course.
There you go. So you work in the area, work in this area, and for people that are watching, give them some examples of some of the jobs that you've done in the area that they've probably driven by 100 times.
I'm going to interject.
Go
here.
ahead. Yeah.
Gene put on a stunning roof on my property. and
Okay.
It is beautiful.
And what
I
is
live
the
on Swamp Pike.
Okay.
and what's the material on the roof?
Actually, I have a big old chestnut beam, and then it's all wood. I have a tin roof on it with snowbirds. It ties into my house, which goes back to the mid 1800s.
Okay.
It is
Beautiful.
beautiful. It's really stunning.
Right. So, what's your name again? I'm sorry.
Barbara Fletcher.
Barb's house on Swamp Pike.
Yeah, it's across from the old Huts Glass.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Corner.
yeah.
It's an old farmhouse.
Yeah.
And I always have a flag flying. And I know people have seen it under construction, because they would ask Gene, "Oh, are you putting that roof up there on that porch?" And
Yeah.
he'd say yes. So,
I
She
know
would yell
exactly
at
the
me.
house. I sold the building from Fast Pro. When Fast Pro sold it to Stanley Steamer, I was the listing agent on that building. So I know exactly where
I'm
you're talking
catty
about.
corner to you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's one example. People will know that
And
place.
actually, her beams were recycled from the Bob's Mill.
Okay.
We had restored that, and many people know where that is. That's on Forgedale and Old 100 there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
turn left and
Yes.
go up Forgedale.
Yes.
And there's that property that sat right there, the first
Right.
building
It's
on-
right
right
on the
falling
corner.
down.
Yes. It was
Well,
falling down
it's
for
not
years.
falling down
No,
anymore.
I just drove by there the other day.
Yeah, so
How
that,
recently was that?
that was last year about this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
That
finished
the
it
work
up.
on that is pretty new.
Yeah.
How long did it go
I do
ahead?
have to say the really neat thing is the owner of the property actually got a plaque with all the guy's name on it
Yeah.
that they've restored it, and he has this plaque up on the
It's
building.
actually mounted on the building.
That's
it's
awesome.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cool because he actually had our name, and then the guys that were working for me or with me, the other two guys, Rick DiPietro and his son John DiPietro. So they're up there. So that's kind
And
of
people
cool.
will cherish that, like as the years go on, 100
Yeah.
years from 200 years from now.
Yeah,
people-
it's- our kids, grandkids, and other family members will be like, "Hey, I know that guy. He was like one of us." So
Right.
it was
Yeah.
kind of cool to be like remembered. And when we were actually tearing the building apart, which was a really long, painful thing to do, because he actually had two guys come out and look at it prior to me, and they said, "Well, we can't touch this. We don't even know where to begin." So, and I walked in like kind of stupidly, and I'm like, "Nah, this is nothing. We can fix this." I mean, it's like posts are missing, the building's leaning.
Oh, it was sagging. It
Oh,
was
it
like
was
literally
horrifying.
on the verge of collapse.
I'm
Yeah.
sure I know the building. I got to drive past it. And see
Yeah.
it.
You would, as soon as you
I'm
go up
sure I
that
do.
way, you'll know where it is. It's
Yeah.
what if you keep going up the road there, you go to that place where everybody swims in the Perkiomen in there. There's some rocks you can jump
Right.
off of.
Yeah.
And I go fishing and stuff up there.
Mhm.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean that place was really. It wouldn't have made it through that winter.
Mhm.
I'm 100% positive because we got all that snow that winter.
Yeah.
Of course, because I was working on it and had the roof like
Right,
trying to
sure.
get the roof done.
Right.
So it snowed like every day.
Mhm.
But yeah, that it wouldn't have made it through that winter because there was like hardly anything holding it up.
Gotcha.
We had over I think 250 2x4s and 2x6s in just to support the building so it didn't come down.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty amazing that one.
You should tell them about the machine.
Well, yeah, it actually has all the machinery still in it for like separating the grain and crushing it and doing
Yeah.
it's all still in there.
Really?
So there's a couple tons of machinery in there still.
Okay.
Wow.
So we have it well supported to hopefully not come down
Right.
until we get on the next level because we only did the top section
Okay.
Yeah,
just
just
to
stabilize the roofs and everything.
to secure the building so it doesn't get wet anymore.
And
What's
what-
the long-term plan for that
That's
place?
what I was going to ask. Yeah.
The long-term plan, the last I heard, was the owner wants to take the house because it was originally a two separate buildings, and they opened the house up, made it into one big building.
Mhm.
So he wants to separate that and make an apartment, and then the second one would be an apartment for the cooks to come in because they have the carriage house there, which is going to come down and get rebuilt, and that becomes what he's considering a learning center. And he wants to have chefs come in. This is the last I've heard. Like 5-star chefs will come in and teach you how to cook.
Okay.
So you're gonna make your own food, like I think on like open fire and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the barn gets redone. That becomes your dining hall.
Gotcha.
So like a bunch of people will go up and they eat the food that they made in the dining hall.
Gotcha.
So
So what
that's-
happens to all that equipment then?
the mill's gonna end up getting restored eventually and become basically like a museum.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So that's kind of the plan there. But we did actually pull a machine, a dustless separator. It was in the one section that the floor was missing completely, and it was sitting on a rotted beam that had about an inch by an inch piece of beam left.
Yeah. Right.
And then it had a steel pole going down to the next rotted beam.
Yeah.
And that didn't have anything underneath that. And the machine was leaning against the wall.
How
And
in
then
the
because that
world was
machine's
that
got to weigh
staying
so
up?
much.
It was probably about a 1,000-pound machine.
Yeah.
roughly. That's what we're
Holy
estimating.
smokes.
So it's leaning there. He
Yeah.
wanted to rescue this machine. So we're like, okay, we can do this. So we did. We saved it. We got it out. It was probably about 3 or 4 nights of absolutely no sleep, like trying to like figure out how
It
the
was
heck.
stressing.
Yeah.
I was,
yeah.
so I was afraid if we even touched it,
Right.
that it would take off.
So
down.
now you're going from a carpenter to a rigger.
Yes.
Like so now you're in a rigging job.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were rigging. We
Yeah.
definitely brought out the old Boyertown math on the cantilever
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we figured it. We actually took a really long, it was like a 32-foot beam,
Mhm.
stuck it through the wall, built this whole like 4x4 system, and then put a notch at the very end, ran some cables around it, and attached it. And we were like, well, now or
There
never.
it goes.
So we pulled down on the very end of it, all 3 of us, and the machine just came up and hung there. We're like, we got it. I'm like, now I can go to sleep.
I'm sure in the work you do, I'm sure you wear many hats. I mean, you're probably sometimes you're an engineer, just like you just did there. I mean, that was engineering
Yeah.
to get that out. But I'm sure you run in these situations that are not normal situations.
And
I'm
that's
sure that's quite often.
and that's probably the reason that I love this the most is because even though it's the same, like I'm not building houses, I'm not just taking 2x4s, bang, 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 going along. It's like, how the heck am I going to support this barn that has like half the beams are rotted off and it's leaning?
Right.
How are we going to pick this up, hold it while we take it apart without it coming down? So like, there's a lot of that engineering. That's what I think makes it the most fun.
Yeah.
That and saving the old history. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
I love these old buildings. And simple facts that most people don't realize is like a barn, there's nothing attaching it to the stone. There's nothing.
It's just sitting
It's
on top.
sitting there by sheer weight. It just sits.
Hmm.
And it moves. It rocks in the wind. Although
Yeah.
you don't really see it, you can hear it creaking and groaning.
Sure.
That's what keeps it there because it can move in the wind. And if it didn't, it'd be just like anything else where it has to be attached or you're going to push it over.
Yeah.
So it's kind of amazing that they came up with that thought and technology. Even, I mean, it's simple technology.
Yeah.
What holds it together is a piece of wood stuck through. And
Yeah.
there's literally just
A
a
wood
wooden
dowel, right?
peg stuck in
Yep.
there. And that keeps it together. So it's pretty amazing, the strength.
So what, like, I'm sure working on all these historical buildings and stuff like that, have you found anything cool in any of these places? Like out of the ordinary, I guess.
All right, so I haven't found that awesome barn find that you constantly see on TV.
Yeah.
Like I haven't found that
I think-
68 Camaro.
I don't want to ruin
that's
anybody,
cherry.
but I think that this often set up on TV. Yeah.
I'm assuming because I've been in probably 2,000 barns and I have never ever come across that 69 Camaro in mint condition that Grandpa
Right.
put in there with 10 miles on it.
Right.
Haven't found it. We find like old, really old bottles every now and then. I mean, other than that, not too much.
Yeah.
But we were on a project. I was on a project on Lazaretto in Philadelphia, down by the airport. It was the old state hospital, kind of like Ellis Island, where the immigrants would come in if they were sick. They went in there as like kind of like the quarantine point.
Yeah, it was a quarantine hospital.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in the attic was these little thumbnail drawings
Okay.
of the old sailing boats. As
Okay.
they were coming in, these kids, I guess, were
Yeah, yeah.
drawing these boats on the wall with their thumb.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all they had. So that was really cool because like no one else saw it, and I was just standing in there looking out the window, like, wow, this is a really cool view, looking at the river. Look at that! It was like 5 or 6 of them. It was like the tall ships with like 3 or 4
Yeah,
sails
yeah.
and like different ones, a little smaller ones.
Yeah.
So that was probably the coolest thing I've seen out of the ordinary.
Okay.
I mean, they found like shoes, like the old leather shoes and stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That was kind of like the coolest thing.
There's a neat story about there's a connection from the Lazaretto to this area, and it's more than just the Lazaretto, and I'll just tell a very abbreviated story. In the late 1700s, there was a ship that sailed out of Philadelphia. It was a naval vessel, and it went on a cruise down in the Caribbean, and as part of that cruise, they captured illegal slave ships. All right. The captain of this vessel that went down there, and the name of the vessel might come to me in a second, didn't believe in slavery. He wasn't necessarily an abolitionist, but he just didn't believe in slavery. So he had a choice to make about where to bring this slave ship back. So instead of going to Charleston, he brings it to Philadelphia, where he knows that the courts are more abolitionist minded than Philadelphia. And these Africans are held at the Lazaretto because you got to think Africans had no rights as people. They were slaves, so they were really property. So the Navy had this seized property, which in this case was human beings, and they held them at the Lazaretto until they could figure out what to do with them. They're set free by the courts, and some of them come to live in Pottstown, where it's a really kind of complicated and convoluted story, but they hook up with a guy who was a Revolutionary War hero. They gain their freedom by working an apprenticeship, and they start farms up on Rattlesnake Hill. Do you know where that is?
Sure.
Over by Pine Forge.
Sure.
And they kind of live out the rest of their lives owning and operating this fruit farm up on Rattlesnake Hill. It's a super interesting story, and as soon as I can, the Ganges is the name of the ship. So if you look up the history of the USS Ganges, you'll find this story that has a connection to Pottstown and Pine Forge. So the Pottstown, Boyertown area.
Yeah.
But also the reason I know about the Lazaretto is because I studied this story. And that's really neat because those sailing ships were coming into the Philadelphia harbor there. And this was the official quarantine station for the US government at that time.
Okay.
Maybe they were the ones that made the drawings.
Maybe. You never know.
Yeah.
But it's interesting story nonetheless.
Wow.
Yeah.
That place was really cool, really super creepy.
Mhm.
But like you could I can feel things that most people can't.
Okay.
that place just made my skin crawl. Like my hair was on my neck the whole time. I
Really?
could feel like people and
Yeah.
never saw anything because it was usually daylight and it was like 30 people running around working.
So what did you do? What was your job on the have they fixed this place up? I've never been there. I mean, I know
it into the police station and borough hall, and it was like something else, like other areas that were going to rent out. But that's
Okay.
what they were doing, and they had to keep it somewhat historic, is what they kept saying.
right.
But it was like most conventional lumber got put back.
I
in.
gotcha.
So
Yeah.
But we actually tore out the one whole wing, all the floor, and put all new floor and floor joists, made a whole new system for it. And the most ugly hard part, if you look at a picture of it, you can see the spire sticking way up,
Mhm.
that big center
Yeah.
copper thing.
Yeah.
On top of that, like
It's like a cupola.
that
Yeah.
cupola, the cupola is huge.
Mhm.
I had to fix that.
Okay.
They pulled that spire out with a crane, and the thing's probably about 40 foot tall.
Wow.
And they pulled it out, and I had to redo the roof. So I rebuilt the roof, put it all back together exactly how they told me in the little blueprints. And I said, before you put that in, you might want to fix the substructure because it leans.
Mm.
Well, I said, no, that's not part of the deal.
So it's leaning.
So they stuck the spire back in, bolted it in, did all their things. They stepped back and they looked at me and go, "You're going to have to fix that." I'm like, "Were you pulling the spire?" He said, "No, you're doing it with the spire in. You're just going to have to make it so it looks straight." So that was my next job. I had to crawl back up in there and like cut out with the stupid monster spire in there. I'm sitting in there trying to move it by myself.
Right.
So that was a fun job. But yeah, we got it straightened out so it looks pretty straight now. So that was probably the hardest part.
So as we were talking here, I put some links up for Eugene's business. So you'll be able to shoot over to his Facebook page from the comments section. There was a YouTube video. What's on the YouTube video?
It was about the old 3/3 windows and how to like redo them and fix them.
Okay. So it was kind of like a how-to.
Yeah, just kind of, we were doing the mill. We were putting all new windows in, and my
Your lovely wife.
my lovely technician
Uh-huh,
over here
uh-huh.
was doing her videos, and so there was a bunch of different videos on different things that were in there and what we were doing.
There is actually a video too on when they removed that piece of equipment from the mill.
Yeah.
So that, and there's some different videos like this is this kind of beam, or here's like the pulley, or this is how they did that.
So if there's somebody
mostly, like,
out,
educational.
I gotcha. So if somebody out there is watching and has no idea what we're talking about, you can go on that video and learn some stuff.
See a piece
Yep.
of what you do.
Yeah. Yep.
Good.
So here's the one thing that I do want to talk about, because this is the one project that I know all about because I spent a lot of time there, is you helped rebuild the Pleasantville Bridge
Yes.
on Covered Bridge Road.
Yeah, that was a really cool, fun project.
And it had to be historically accurate, right?
There was mostly historical accuracy. You've been there.
Yeah.
I
I fish underneath it.
There's like a weird smell
Is there?
under there.
Next time I'll pay
You'll notice
attention to it.
It's
Okay.
still there, like
Okay.
20 years later.
Okay.
You can still smell it. It's the pressure treating. They actually had to get special wood sent from out west to here,
Mhm.
and it was pressure treated a certain way for the state because it's over the water.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a really cool. They brought these beams in that I swear are probably as wide as this.
Yeah.
Because those arches.
Yeah, they're huge.
We had to
Yeah.
recut those.
Okay.
And they gave us an 1/8 of an inch compared to the original.
Okay.
That was the tolerance.
That was the
And
two.
all
Wow.
the joints,
Okay.
everything.
Okay.
So yeah, we were using like a big 16-inch Makita circ saw
Okay.
and like cutting these arches and then like sanding, hand planing them down to like our line. So
Uh-huh.
it was matching.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was fun putting that. Like we had all these different beams and we
Uh.
were like right there in that field, right next to the
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
it was super hot that year. And that stuff, that stank. Because
I-
like you're out in the middle and there's no shade, no nothing.
Right, right.
hard
Yeah.
hat, and the beams were actually getting so hot under the tarps, you can hear them cracking and popping.
Oh,
Under
really?
the tarp. It was like crack. What was that? It was like the beam would actually pop
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
So they were cooking them. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. We actually redid all the timbers. We weren't there to reassemble. We were only there to basically copy the beams that
To do the woodwork.
right. We had to do all the hard stuff.
I
So
gotcha.
they got to play with the cranes and put it together.
And put it
Yeah.
together.
So
So you built the erector set for them.
exactly. And we wrote the instructions.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a fun one.
That's all good stuff, man.
is
So
really
we're
cool
talking
stuff.
for people that just tuned in, because I see that there's some people coming in and out of the show. We're talking to Gene Kehler from PA Craftsmen Construction Company, talking about some of the historical projects that he's done in the area that people might see and might have known about. So we're learning a little bit here about historic restoration.
And we're in the Boyertown Area Historical Society.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we do have some stuff to cover for the Historical Society, right? Rachel,
sure
Rachel
do.
has some things that she wants us
Yeah.
to talk about, and Barb down there.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Should we start with events?
lay it on us.
Let's hear some
Alright.
events happening.
All right. Well, our next big event that's coming up is we have our big metal detecting fundraiser.
which is this Saturday.
Yep, Saturday and Sunday. So this is something we started a metal detecting club here at the Historical Society in 2020. Metal detecting was COVID compliant because you can't get close to each other because the metal detectors set each other off. So you have to stay far away. But we have
Which is a funny story. She got me hooked on it now.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were at the first metal detecting event, and I had like a cheap, like it was a cheap one. I got it off eBay.
Mhm.
I was
Yeah.
out there, playing with it. I'm like, this thing kind of sucks. And so we're at this event, and there I am looking at our vendor over there, and I'm like drooling over this one, and I'm like, it's killing me. It was like 2 days.
Should I buy it?
The
Should I
first
buy
day,
it?
it was I was just running through my mind like, I really want to go buy that. I really want to go buy that. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to spend the money. Yeah, all right, I gotta go buy it. And then she's like, just go buy it. I'm like, okay, I did. So I ended up buying my first really good metal detector at our metal detecting event.
And you're hooked now?
Oh, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is really interesting. I have to tell you, because I'd say you probably would agree with me, Barb. Sometimes we go and we'll document, even for the smaller hunts that the clubs do, we'll document the items they find, just like taking pictures and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like seeing what they find.
It's really exciting.
But I mean, honestly, they go out, people watch these YouTube videos, and it's like they're out there for like 8 hours. And they might find one good thing. The rest is like soda can tabs and nails. He's much more patient than me. So,
Yeah.
She calls me the nail
Yeah.
king. That's all I find.
Yeah. Well, all these guys, they have their own YouTube videos, and then they at the event we'll have a sticker table and everybody puts their stickers down, and then you swap them. You'll take somebody else's and then put one of yours down,
Okay.
and then they collect it, and then they'll watch each other's YouTube channels and stuff. So
I'm not that far.
I can't believe people come from what was it?
Utah, Texas.
Yeah.
They fly in. It's just an
All
amazing
the way here
event.
to Little Boyertown to do these metal detecting events.
Well, there's a lot of history in our area.
Yeah.
They're just hoping to
For
find
sure.
that one cannonball or something. That's
Yeah.
what they're looking for.
So the
They're
property.
just hoping that they find that one silver coin.
Yeah, the silver coin, the
Mhm.
treasure,
Yeah.
right?
So we're actually going to a farm. It's in Bartow. It's actually a job that Gene worked on with his buddy. But that's an 80-acre farm. Like you said, the event is Saturday and Sunday. It's 230 Hoffman Road in Bartow, PA. So the actual big hunt is sold out. So you can't
Okay.
get tickets for that anymore to go out with your own metal detector. But we have a lot of stuff for people that might want to be interested in getting in the hobby, or maybe they bought a metal detector but they haven't figured out how to use it.
Right.
And then the big thing is we have a kids hunt going on where kids can come out for free. We have metal detectors they can borrow, and then people will teach them how to use it. And the guys all donate silver coins and really neat items, and they for that they plant it in the ground.
They
Mhm.
seed it.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And the kids,
That's what it's called.
yep. When the kids find it, they get to keep the item. So that's really neat. So we have that going on. There's also a test garden if you want someone to teach you how to use your detector. We have a vendor. Also, we'll have a raffle, all kinds of raffle items, food, CDs, catering is going to be there serving food on Saturday. So it's a really nice event. It's a beautiful property. I mean, especially if you're not directly from Boyertown, to come out in the country, spend some time on this big farm.
Yeah. And I think you're getting good weather this weekend, I think.
I hope it's not like last week.
No, it's supposed to be
I
decent.
think it's all right.
Yeah, it was horrible. So that's our next big event that's coming up. The other thing I know we were talking about this a little bit, Jeff, when I was showing you around in the museum. Our next program meeting is April 6th at 7:00 here at the Historical Society. But we actually have Jane Stahl coming in to do a program for us. She was the creator of the Bear Fever Project. So she's the one that started the program that creates all the bears that you see all around Boyertown.
Mhm.
So we do have 2 bears in our collection already, the Bonanza Bear and the Julie Longacre Jingles Bear. but Jane will be here to talk about, how they got started and answer any kind of questions. So we have that going on.
And I think a lot of people are probably curious about that.
Yeah, because everyone asks, like at the candy store, they're like, "What's the deal with the bears?" So it's people are always talking about it.
Yeah.
So we have that. The program's free if you're a member. It's $5 if you're not a member. So it's very affordable.
I think you can handle $5, right?
Yeah. Or you could just be a member for $25.
Right.
So you can talk to Barb. She's in charge.
Which I got to say, I got my membership today.
Good.
Yeah, I
Nice.
did.
Great.
It's been a long time coming. But
We finally roped you in, Jeff.
yeah, finally wrote me in.
Now you can come over here and do the research for your stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We have a lot of really great books and maps, and like you were looking at the mining map earlier.
Right.
We're talking about where do you not want to walk around here?
We don't want to give anybody any nightmares or anything.
Exactly. So that's our next big event. We also do different kinds of food sales almost every month. Our next bake sale, it's coming up. The deadline is April 14th, but we're selling funny cakes.
Which I saw that's coming up, and I used to sell funnel cakes. Okay, funnel cakes.
Okay.
Wow.
And people used to come up and say, "I want a funny cake." And my brother used to work with me as well, and he used to be like, "They're not funny cakes, they're funnel cakes." And I thought he was just like,
Messing with you?
yeah, no, I thought he was just like didn't like that they said it wrong or whatever.
Yeah.
But it actually is a completely different thing.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
actually a funny
completely.
cake and there's a funnel cake, and they look nothing alike.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And do you know why they call it a funny cake?
No, I don't.
So when they bake it, they actually put the chocolate on the top, like before they put it in the oven.
Okay.
Then when you bake it, the chocolate sinks down.
Ah,
It's
that's
actually in
funny.
the bottom. Yeah. So I guess it really cracks people up. Back in the old days before TV, they didn't
Yeah,
have as many
it was-
things to
yeah.
occupy them, I guess. You'd watch the cake cook.
Yeah.
So, but you can order the cakes. The deadline is April 14th, and then you pick the cakes up right here at the Historical Society at the back entrance on April 23rd. You just pull right up. We walk it right out to your car.
We do have an off-camera voice today. Who is the off-camera
Yeah.
voice?
My son Gabe over here is listening. He's supervising.
Gotcha.
Sure we-
I have a question.
What did you want to put onto the table?
What's funny about a funny cake?
What?
We just said.
Do you know? Are you,
Oh, I thought this was the beginning of a joke.
Yeah.
What's funny about having chocolate on top of a cake and then having it on the bottom when you take it out? What's funny about that?
Nothing.
Well, back in the day, humor was very easy.
See, Gabe, you're gonna have to taste test it for us and let us know.
All of our bake sales and soup sales, we try to base them on a recipe we find in our cookbook
Okay.
from back in when the society first started back in 1977. All the women had gotten together a cookbook. So we have some real tried and true recipes and some explanations about different utensils that they used in that day. So when we do our sales, we try to base it on something that could be found in this book.
I got you.
I mean, we don't use a lot of lard, but
Right.
it's based on that.
But again, these are all probably then local dishes. So I'm sure,
Yes.
the PA Dutch traditions,
For
the
sure.
German traditions
Yeah.
weigh into that heavily, I'm sure.
Yes.
Maybe
So you're gonna need
sometimes
your
the
own
lard.
salt and pepper.
What's that?
You're gonna need your own salt and pepper.
Okay,
Well,
right.
My favorite recipe in the cookbook is cracker soup. And
Yeah.
it's just milk with saltine crackers.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think I've made that before when I was a kid.
yeah, but
Probably
there's
all
some
have.
crazy ones.
Yeah.
But what I do really like about the cookbook, it actually has canning recipes and also home remedies too,
Okay.
which I think is always interesting because people lose that nowadays.
Did you ever
Right.
try the home remedies?
No,
Oh.
but have you ever read them?
Now,
Do they all start with the whiskey?
no, I don't.
Only the good ones.
Yeah, right.
A lot of
Lord.
herbs, natural remedies, that type of thing.
and hard cider from all the apples they were growing.
Right.
Do you guys still sell the cookbook?
Yes, we do.
And then I would imagine that the sale of that goes to support the historical
Yes.
society.
Yep. Yeah, we have I don't know, like 600 cookbooks.
We
still
had
in our-
there was second and third printings of this cookbook, so
Okay.
we have an abundance, and we usually try to pair it with one of our sales,
Mhm.
so we give you a little bit of a deal.
I put some links to the historical society Facebook page into the chat. It was super easy to find. I just searched Boyertown area. I just searched Boyertown Historical Society. It came right up. And I scrolled through, and there's links right on their Facebook page to the funny cake sale and all of that stuff. So it couldn't be any easier to find.
Good. Awesome.
Great.
Okay. All right. And then I'm just browsing here. I think our next big event then here at the Historical Society is the Bears Mill event. So I don't know if anyone has been to the Bears Mill recently.
I have not.
It's a local mill over on Ironstone and Sawmill Drive. It's privately owned, but the gentleman who restored it did a beautiful job. Almost all the original equipment's inside.
Was the gentleman's name Gene?
No,
no.
he doesn't have any credit for this one.
Oh,
So-
sorry.
It's owned by
Yeah,
Lee Warner.
sorry.
And Ed Miller has worked diligently, taking meticulous care of the mill and the grounds. It's a lovely area. It's a beautiful mill. It's well worth the trip. It's an untold treasure. I don't think a lot of people have been there. So we, for our event, we're going to set up some vendors. It adjoins the property of Alan Geringer.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to set up some vendors. We're going to have food, musicians. Last year we had a forge.
Blacksmith.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a portable blacksmith forge.
So,
Yeah.
and the township is gracious enough to close that little road for us.
Okay.
So
Cool.
it's a real nice event.
Is
Yeah.
that Douglas Township? Is that in Douglas?
No, I think it's up Colebrook.
Colebrook.
Okay, that's
Colebrook,
Colebrook.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
I mean,
It's
from
right
my
down
point of
from
view,
the-
the place is awesome. It's
Yeah.
It
beautiful,
looks
it's
great from the
amazing.
outside.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It has the original water wheel. I think
Does
Marsha
it?
mentioned
Yeah, you
that
were
the
talking
last
about that
time.
on
Yeah.
your show.
And just-
original water wheel
Half? Why? What happened to the other half?
rotted.
Rotted away.
Yeah.
Maybe you need
Order.
to drop one of your dad's cards off over there.
Well, he knows what to do now. He's
Yeah,
an
he's got to get
apprentice.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to start bidding his own jobs.
Oh. That'll be good.
Gabe helped on my roof.
He
He
did.
was on my roof with the snowbirds.
Gotta
Nice.
get them out there. They got to learn.
That's the best way to learn.
Yep.
Yep.
Hands on.
Just flop them on the roof and tell them don't fall.
Yep.
That's the first rule
That
of
was what I
safety.
told you. Told you tuck and roll.
That helped.
You didn't fall off though, so you didn't have to test it out.
That did not help at all. So when you told me that, it made me more afraid.
Well, that's the idea, because now you have a healthy respect for it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to make you
You
afraid.
weren't dancing on that roof. were you?
No. Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Well, Barb
You know.
did say she's hiring Gabe to be her porch boy now, like
Okay.
pool boy.
Uh-huh,
Like he's gonna
uh-huh.
bring her out there.
Yeah. Sweep up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cabana
Nice.
boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we call him, cabana boy.
Mhm.
if I do that, do I get paid?
You might if you do a good job.
See,
That's
and
called
now
a tip.
hold on. That was an excellent question, because you now have that recorded, and you will be able to go back to the Glocker Realty YouTube channel and play that over and over again to remind people that you were offered a job. So become a subscriber. We're always
So I
looking
was
for new
offered a
subscribers.
job, and if I don't get paid, I'll just show them the
Show them the tape.
Yep.
Show
Okay.
them the tape.
And then you'll probably have to be paid.
Yeah, we'll even give you a transcript. You'll have a transcript. Read the transcript.
All right. So well, that the back to the Bears Bill. That event is June 18th, and then the last event that I feel is worth mentioning is we last year we started a tractor show at the Boyertown Park,
Mhm.
which was amazing. We held it on
It's
September
terrific.
11th. So we did the Boyertown ladder truck 95 came out. They displayed an American flag from the extended ladder. You know, of course, we did a moment of silence. The alumni band came out and played a memorial concert. So it was just really awesome.
How many tractors were there?
There was over 100.
Nice.
It's wonderful. And heavy equipment. It's a real family event.
And that was the first event. That was
Yeah,
the first
that was
time.
the first
So
time.
if there's 100 last time, probably going to be more next time.
The kids, the families, it was great.
And the excavator rodeo.
Oh yeah.
Did you have a
tell them about
tractor
that,
pull?
Gene. No tractor pull.
No
but
tractor
tell
pull.
them
Tractor
about the
pull.
excavator thing.
Well, they actually
Power Co.
PowerCo came out with a almost brand new case back excavator,
Mhm.
one of the smaller minis, and they had these blocks with shapes, and it had little T's on it. and he actually got to run the machine, pick them up, and he had to swing them over and put them into place and set them in.
They were
So
like
I could do
puzzle-
that. I could.
Anyone could walk
You
up and it was
could.
Wow.
totally free.
He does
Wow.
talk to you like, have you ever run equipment before?
They
Like,
give you a couple minutes. You get to play with it
Yeah.
for as long as you want. But
you
the
have to be a
moment
little
you go,
experienced,
I'm
though.
ready.
Mhm.
Machines are pretty simple. I mean, there was a little kid that jumped up.
I'm
and was
there.
pulling
I'm
it.
there
It's a
next year for
joystick,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot
I
of
get
fun.
to play with big machinery.
And it was I think he had like $150 for the first place, and second place was like 75.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually gave cash away. It
Wow.
was totally free.
And the guys,
So-
I have to tell you, all the tractor guys, like the whole time they were like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna beat you. No, I'm gonna like there was this rivalry
Mhm.
going on. Like I don't think anybody really cared about the money. They just like
they just wanted to beat their
bragging
buddy.
rights.
Yeah.
But the gentleman Brett who helped us organize, he's also organizing the tractor show that's going to be in Valley in May. But him and his other buddy were like the two top people, and he actually beat his friend. But he said really his friend was better. So he's like, it was just
He
know.
just got lucky.
But
is what it
yeah,
was.
like so they were really like busted on each other. It was
Yeah.
really great.
My
So-
daughter jumped in and ran it.
Yeah,
And
Nice.
she's never run one.
right.
So she just jumped in and started pulling the sticks. And
How old's your daughter?
She
19
was
now.
19.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she can drive
So
a
what
car.
I'm hearing,
Yes,
Jeff, is
yes.
because I know I think you got a little bit of feedback maybe that you don't have enough family events. What I heard two things.
No, I
Jeff.
never got that feedback.
You didn't?
No, I just feel like I don't
Oh, okay.
express it enough.
This was
Yeah, that's all.
self-criticism then.
Yes, it was.
All right. I thought you were
I
getting,
have plenty of family events. I don't express it on the show.
I
That's
just heard family event and I
Yeah.
heard another word, free.
right. Yes.
That's right.
And I heard another word, competition. Matt, you and I. we're gonna
I'm
have that
super
competition.
competitive, dude.
Let's do it.
All right.
Next,
I'll
next
let
time.
people
When is
All
it?
right.
When is it?
It's September 10th this year.
Oh, so we got some
Yeah,
time.
we got some time.
Oh, I
You
even got
can't
some time to go practice, dude.
Go practice.
I'm telling you.
Well, if anyone wants to go and buy a mini excavator to practice, I highly recommend Power Cow.
Well, they have that theme park now in New Jersey. that you
Yes.
can go and you can run all kinds of
Yeah.
equipment. You
I
go in there.
meant to take my kids, but I have not yet.
I haven't been there
boy.
either, but it
Well,
looks,
you play
my
with
son
skid loader.
Patrick wants to go.
Alright.
Yeah. Practice on that.
I did. I have driven a skid loader before.
Oh, there you go.
I gotta practice.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing. I'm winning that $150.
All you gotta do is beat me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you got bragging rights.
I'm never satisfied with that. though.
No, you want to win the
I
money.
gotta keep pushing
Yeah.
forward.
You want to be top dog.
So, in addition to that, what else you got going on? Does that cover you, or you got some more stuff you
Probably
want to talk
one
about?
of the major events that we are infamous for is the Belschnickel. It's
Mhm.
a juried craft show,
Okay.
and we now have it being held down at New Hanover Methodist, with the old YMCA off of Swamp, off of Charlotte Street.
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've rented that facility, and it's also the weekend right after Thanksgiving, which
Okay.
is the traditional date for the Belschnickel.
Now the
Um,
Belschnickel is the like the anti-Santa, right? Like the
Yeah.
bad guy
He's a
come gives you
little-
whippings or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
the original.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He was the.
He's
It's a German folklore.
Well, if you're a good little boy,
You don't
Jeff,
have to worry
get
about it.
You
whipped.
have nothing
I
to
know.
worry
Yeah.
about.
But if you're naughty, then
that's
the
what
whip
I'm
comes
worried
out.
about.
Right. But we have a lot of great crafters coming there, and beautiful things, artisans. So we want you to remind yourself to come to
out.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you got tons of stuff going on. Lots of
we
events.
are very busy.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
are
we do
very
have
busy.
program meetings every month. They're always the first Wednesday, but you can always check on our Facebook page and also on our website just for the updated list of who our speakers are. Like you said, Jane Stahl is going to be April. Jean did last month for us. So it's always on some kind of topic. I know people think the bears in town, well, that's pretty relatively new, but I mean, that's still part of our history.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we were saying earlier, we have the Bonanza bear. Well, Bonanza's not even around anymore.
Right.
It has
so-
been around for years.
Yeah.
We're thinking 20 years at
Yeah.
least.
So I mean, I don't know off the top of my head how many years she's been doing this, but it's obviously for a while now.
Yeah.
So-
Yesterday is history.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
So-
it's amazing to me, like how much history these local historical societies have. There's really some important artifacts and some important
Yes.
history,
Yeah.
and you're really missing out if you've never stopped by your local historical society.
Yeah. Even just for example, so I actually went through today. I asked Jeff if he graduated from Boyertown. So We do have a collection
Okay.
of every Boyertown yearbook.
Okay.
So I have some questions for Jeff. I want to quiz him to see how good he is with his high
Let's
school.
do it.
high
Do it.
school,
All right. I'm
This
ready.
is
Are
spectacular.
you on your A game?
No, I'm sweating already.
His face turned red the second you started talking. Look at his
You're
head.
getting a little
Look at his
red.
head. It's red.
The pressure is on.
Yeah, I
Okay.
stopped breathing already. Yeah.
All right, so Jeff, in 1991, it was 100-year anniversary of what? This is in
The original
yearbook.
building.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. It's the 100-year anniversary of
Of the school
Boyertown
district.
is established as a school district. So Boyertown School
okay.
District was established in 1891.
I knew that one, Jeff, and I'd even go there.
Okay. All right, Jeff, this should be an easy.
You're gonna know them all if
No,
it's
I'm
all.
not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
It was just a good guess
Yeah.
because the public school system really starts getting created in the 1870s and 1880s. So
Okay.
it was just a good guess because I just happen to be a history nerd.
You are definitely a history nerd. You
Big
know
time.
your history.
Big
Yeah.
time.
Okay, Jeff, who was the homecoming queen the year you graduated?
Ooh, this is a
I
good
do know the
question.
answer. The homecoming queen. The homecoming queen was
Do, do, do,
Kate
do,
Holtzlander.
Yep, you got it.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Okay, what was your class motto?
Oh God, it's the time to remember, or something like that.
Okay, it's cherish your memories from yesterday, live your life
Oh
today,
yeah, okay.
and dream of what is to come.
That's so
Oh,
cheesy.
the song is "Time to Remember." Is that going to be one of your questions?
Yeah, it was. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep, you got that one. What was the class flower?
What?
There's
Is
class
that even
flower.
a thing?
Hey.
Yeah, it's in the yearbook.
Wow.
I'm going to say daffodils.
Nope, it was a red rose with baby's breath.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm.
what was the
What
theme
guys
of your
really care about that?
what was the theme of your prom?
I was at the prom. I don't know. I don't remember a theme. There's a magician there though.
Gotta give points for that, right?
Yeah.
He
Let me see.
remembers it.
Let me think. Man, I couldn't even think. I was gonna say the Back to the Future one, and I can't even think of that. Something under the sea. I don't know.
It was a wonderful tonight.
Yeah, that kind of does bring back memories.
So okay, so what there's an event they still do today,
Yeah.
but it was revived the year you graduated. So they brought it back the year you graduated and they still do it.
And what do you mean?
Like a
an event?
social event?
Yeah. It's like a social event. I would say it's a sporting event.
Oh, maybe. What would they bring back?
And it still happens today.
I don't know.
It's Boyertown School District, dude. So you could probably pick some kind of farmer event and have a pretty good shot at winning it.
That's
yeah,
perfect.
It's like-
man.
throwing.
It's or like
The pig races.
pig races.
It was powder puff football.
Oh,
okay. All right.
yeah.
All right, and my last question for you: what was your principal's name?
Oh. Okay.
Well, we know he wasn't in the
Well, that's a
principal
good thing.
lot.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you didn't see him a lot.
I don't know. The main guy I ever had to talk to was like Hawaiian guy, and I don't remember his name.
No, I don't think this guy.
But
was one.
but that was just like per grade. It wasn't
Yeah.
the top dog. I don't know.
The principal the year you graduated was Dr. Richard Gross.
Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds familiar.
Now I have one other question because I did go through your yearbook, Matt. I don't know if we can show this, but I did find.
If
a
you hold it,
blackmail
if you
picture.
hold it up in front of you, people will be able to generally see it.
The first picture I found, Phil Maurer and Jeff Frederick had a slight shaving mishap. This is it right here. So I don't know
What
if you
did
can
you
tell
shave?
Just it was because of the back of the head.
Oh,
was
your
shaved.
back of your head.
Yeah.
Is that you in the bottom middle?
us. I'm pointing right here.
Yeah, bottom middle. All
Yeah.
right, that's Jeff.
Okay.
When
and
you had
then-
hair, dude.
Yeah.
I remember those
Well, wait
days.
till you see it. He had some good hair.
I
He
had
did.
great hair.
He did.
Yeah.
Great hair.
He
and
did.
then it got long. I had long hair then, but
And he had a mohawk at one point.
Well, there's not.
I
I
never
don't
had
have
a mohawk.
photographic.
I thought you had a
evidence of that
mohawk.
one.
Oh.
But
I-
here's Jeff. I don't know if you can zoom in on it.
Yeah, I
That's
can't. I
before
can't
and
control the
after.
camera.
Do you want me to go closer? Do you think people can see?
Nah, it's
Okay.
they're getting the idea.
Okay. I mean, I can take a picture and send it to
Well,
you.
what they
Matt.
really need to do is come into the historical society and
Yes.
do their own research.
Yeah,
we have
and they-
copies of
Exactly,
the
I-
yearbooks.
For example, we have a new board member and his daughter was in here one day actually helping us catalog items. I was like, did your dad graduate from high school? She's like, yeah. So we pulled his yearbook out. So she got some blackmail pictures of him. I think
Yeah.
there was
So
one-
not necessarily do you have to look up me, but you can
Yeah.
certainly look up
Yes.
someone that you are in.
All your
Well-
friends and loved ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
can't find me.
We tried finding pictures of him, and he's like not existing.
He's MIA.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Only
he
when
did
he's
give
a
you
freshman.
he did give you a clue. His junior year, he was on the wrestling team. So there
Oh,
must
I
be a
didn't think
picture.
about
There
that.
must be a picture of him with the wrestling
All
team.
right.
It's going to be something like this.
Yeah.
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 If you can see me, I'm much too short for the picture.
Because he had to practice with the heavyweight.
Yeah.
So
I got shrimp.
Yeah, he's like behind them. He's like peeking up.
I'm still stuck.
I'll
in
get
this.
back to you on that. I have
Back
some
there.
research to
Yeah.
do.
yeah.
So, but yeah, we have all the yearbooks. I mean, we have a lot of amazing books here, maps. The microfilm is one of my favorite things to go through. And Barb, tell them about our updated microfilm system.
Yes, we've taken the giant step of getting all of our films from the Boyertown Times, which goes back into the late 1800s. We're going to have them digitized on and away from the film, the actual film, which is very brittle
Mhm.
and can disintegrate. And we do have a horrible old machine,
No,
but
it's a
we are
historical
getting
old machine.
it's
Right,
a
right.
historical machine.
Yes. You can catalog it as an artifact when you're
Yes.
done with it. Yeah.
Yes. So we have a company that is putting them on computer accessible, so you can go right through and just page through. It's going to be great. It's going to, and you can come in and use those. They're not ready yet, but we are working on it.
Yeah.
So it's
Cool.
a real.
The best part is you're going to be able to search. So, like, if anyone has been on newspapers.com, like you can search, like, opera house, and it'll pull up,
Mhm. Keyword searches.
Man,
Exactly.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that'd
it's
be
like
great.
right now you just have to be like, I think something might have happened in 1902, and then you just have to search through, just
Right.
like randomly looking at everything.
Right.
So,
Oh, that would be
Yeah, that
great.
search function is
That
going to
would
be huge.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
Yep. So we're really excited about that.
That's a real achievement.
Oh, the other thing we have going on, because this person is using the microphone a lot, is we are starting up the Boyertown Ghost Walks again. We have a volunteer, Adrienne Zapian, and she's been researching and like she's going through the old newspapers, old stories, talking with people what their experiences are, and coming up with some new stories to take people on tours around town. So if anybody's interested in attending the Ghost Walks, you can go right onto the website and order your tickets.
I think that would be tons of fun.
Yeah,
and
that's-
I will definitely be in one of
That's
those
going
walks.
to happen every weekend throughout the summer. So we're real excited about that.
And what I'm excited about is it's going all the way till November. Like
Yes.
you're through Halloween and everything.
Yes. Yep. It's going to
So
start
that's great.
like I think it might be June 14th or 16th, whatever that Saturday is, until the middle of November.
Hmm.
So,
Cool.
So
Very good.
we're talking a lot,
Yeah,
and
because there's so much to
I
talk
know there's
about.
so
There's
much,
so
and
much.
we're all into it.
Yep.
Like every person sitting at this table is into
Yeah,
history,
right.
so we're just like all like keyed into each other.
Yeah.
But we are coming down towards the end of the show, so I want to make sure that you get to do some of the things that you have planned. So
All right.
you need to get into
Let's do it.
what's going down.
What's going down in
Boyertown.
Boyertown? All right. So that is my blog. It's on jeffknowsboyertown.com. Comes out weekly. It tells you all the events that are happening in and around Boyertown. You can subscribe and simply put in your email address. I don't take any other information, and it is only used for that, and it automatically sends it to your email each week. So you don't even have to do anything, and you'll find out what's going down in Boyertown each week.
I put the link to it up
Awesome.
on this page,
Thanks,
and
Matt.
all you got to do is Google Jeff Knows Boyertown, and it'll come right up. I had some insomnia going last night,
Uh-huh.
and I did search you
Uh-huh.
on Google.
What happened?
All of your social media stuff came up,
Awesome.
including Jeff Knows
I'm
Boyertown.
doing something right then.
You are.
All right. All right. So, since the Boyertown Historical Society has so much going on with this weekend event, you got the funny cake in 2 weeks, I
Yes.
think.
yes.
Or you can buy it now. I mean,
Yes,
they're
absolutely.
for purchase
Put your
now.
order in now.
Yeah. And we're here tonight. I think so. I said, you know what? I'm going to highlight the Boyertown Area Historical Society. I mean, what better time than right now? So, with that said, I have a few questions that I want to pop out to you, Matt.
Just me?
Because you know it all.
Well, you would think
Yeah, maybe.
maybe
We're gonna find
that
out.
since I'm from Pottstown
Right.
and you guys are all from Boyertown,
Right.
and they're all with the Historical Society,
Right. Well, they know it all.
they know the
They
answers.
know the answers. Yeah.
So this purely is a
It's for
quiz
you
for me.
and our viewers.
All right,
Okay.
lay it on me.
So,
we go.
viewers, please respond if you know the answer. Okay?
Yeah, so put up some. We've been a little bit light on the comments, so this is your opportunity to put some comments up there in that chat box if you're watching.
All right, so
Jeff's mom.
The first, the first question I have is, let me see. What was the first Boyertown school mascot? You might have heard us talking about it earlier. And
I'm gonna go. I did not hear this, but
You
I'm
didn't?
gonna guess that it was like some kind of like Indian related mascot, like an Indian warrior, an Indian chief, or something.
Okay. So let me ask the experts now. What was the first Boyertown school mascot?
Yep, according to the first yearbook that was published, it was the bee.
And that
bee.
is the first yearbook
Yep,
right there.
Yep. And
Okay.
if you come in to use the library, you can always go through it.
Cool.
We have every yearbook.
And that's 1939.
Correct.
Awesome. Awesome.
So I wasn't close at all.
So Matt,
Okay.
if it was 1939, you're not going to know the answer, but just shoot a number out there. What year did the mascot change to the bear? So 39 was the bee,
Right.
and then they changed it. So
1945.
you weren't too far off. I think it's what I'm gonna ask the experts.
1940.
1940. You
Next
weren't
year
too
it changed to
Wasn't
the bear.
bad. All right. So it was just
But
the
it was just
bee for 1 year.
1 year.
Well, I mean, I don't know how long there was a bee before,
Oh, okay.
but just according to the yearbooks,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
we had the first yearbook, it was the bee.
The bee.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure there's some people that might know a little more than me that could answer that. but-
Oh, we'd love to hear from anybody in the audience
Who
knows.
has the right answer?
Yeah,
who
yeah.
knows?
Even if you're rewatching later, throw it up there.
Well, I bet you some of those old newspapers might have the answer because they probably have sports highlights in
Mhm.
them, right? They
Yeah.
were definitely reporting who the Boyertown teams were playing.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Let's see what else we got.
So I'm 0 for 2.
Here's a cool one. And Matt, I also don't know if you heard this earlier, but there were what is the most famous thing about Boyertown back in the day, long time ago? What was Boyertown known for? We'll call it business.
So, like, I just know the Rhodes Opera House story, but
Yeah.
I don't think it was that.
What do you
And
think one of the biggest industries?
it's got to be,
Besides iron ore,
yeah. So there's that. There's
Mhm.
iron manufacturing.
right?
There's the Boyertown. They make beer here.
They did make beer here.
Yeah, I feel like
They
every
make
town makes
vehicles here.
beer.
I'm going to go with the vehicles
Okay.
because the Boyertown carriage works lasted for hundreds of years, making truck bodies and everything. So I'm going to go with vehicles.
That is a good answer. I think you're going to be upset with yourself when you find out the answer because I think you know the answer.
Okay.
What's the answer?
Boyertown Burial Casket Company.
No kidding.
The-
That's why
yeah.
you guys were talking about that ahead of time.
Yeah.
Ah, see,
Yeah.
I was only half paying attention.
So you should always be paying attention.
So you think that the caskets were more well known than the vehicles that were
I
being made here?
Boyertown was
Yeah,
known
they
for the
were.
caskets.
They
yeah.
were?
Worldwide.
Okay.
So,
Really.
so I know that you know part of the answer to this question.
Yeah, 'cause you were
got
talking
into
about it.
Yeah, but do you know who? So do you know a few famous people that were buried in a Boyertown casket? Boyertown made casket.
Well, I heard Vladimir Lenin.
Okay, there's one. Give me 4 more.
Is it like maybe one of the dead, like one of the presidents?
Yeah,
Lincoln?
Well,
Close.
close,
Not
close.
Lincoln.
Well, here's a hint. They're all dead.
Attorney General, I think he was.
An attorney general.
Related to a president.
Related to a president. Yeah.
Bobby Kennedy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
What about Harry Houdini?
Harry Houdini
That's
was. Yeah.
another interesting
So
fact.
I want you to tell a story about Houdini.
So yeah, we're actually
Because
that's
he
one of-
spent all of his time escaping from that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So we've been researching this a lot lately because we have a program meeting, and our May program meeting is all about the casket company. But Harry Houdini actually hired the Boyertown Casket Company to build one of his escape caskets
Okay.
that he used in his axe. Well, then he said when he passed away, he wanted to be buried in this casket because that was going to be his last great escape, is escaping death. So he is buried in this escape casket that was made right here in Boyertown, which, so
That's pretty. I
my
that's
treasurer, Luann,
really cool to me.
yeah, my treasurer, Luann, and I, we've been kind of like pulling stuff together, getting ready for this program, but we just got a huge donation of record books from the casket company, and we want to go through them. We want to see if we can find any kind of records of when they made the casket.
Yeah,
Right.
to find his order.
Yeah, we know the year
Mhm.
it was.
Yeah, so you should be able to find it. If
Yeah,
it's there,
The
you'll find
problem is they're kind of all in code.
it. Okay.
You know, so it's like fine. Like, I mean, we're gonna look through, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we can find some kind of connection.
I mean, you think, but even back, I mean, back then Houdini was huge. He was, so you think that they would kind of highlight that for some reason, you know?
And we didn't go
like
through
one
the
way or
microfilm
another.
yet. I mean, I'm sure there's stories in the microfilm, but we just haven't gotten there yet to research that. So yeah, we were like, it's very interesting. You know, someone very famous buried in one of our caskets.
Yeah, I'm a big Houdini fan, so that's really cool to me. But I think another huge one is Marilyn Monroe.
Really?
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, that's awesome. Liberace.
Yeah.
And all of his gold.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
I'm sure he got buried in gold.
I think,
and stuff
yeah,
like
he's
that.
super flamboyant,
Yeah,
right? All that stuff.
And then Will Rogers
Okay.
is another one.
I would have never guessed any of those.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's hard. How
Houdini, I made the guess because I knew that Houdini.
That was a true guess. You didn't hear us
No,
talking about it?
no, I didn't.
That's
I knew
awesome.
that Houdini was doing those escapes from the graves and all that stuff. Because remember, David Blaine was doing those, was
wanted to do
reviving what
his-
Houdini was doing.
Yep.
So I knew that. So that was a good guess.
Right.
And then she led me into Bobby Kennedy. As soon as she said the Attorney General.
Right. Then you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well.
Because in addition to history, I'm a political science nerd too. Yes, like the two go hand in hand.
So the
Is
last,
there anything else that we need to know that you are over here, Matt?
he's a realtor.
Yeah.
Real estate
Yeah.
agent, yeah, I'll help you sell a house, especially
heard-
historic ones.
You used to be a police officer.
I was a
too?
police
Yeah.
officer for 15 years. Yeah, yeah,
Pottstown proud.
and I like to fish and hunt.
There you go.
I think that's pretty much that sums it up.
And we got to pull out your yearbook picture at some point.
All right,
All right.
I have my yearbooks. I'll find them.
All right. So the last year the last building from the Boyertown Burial Casket Company was torn down on June 10th of 1996.
Ah, that's sad.
Yeah, right.
Where was it?
No remnants of it anymore.
Actually, over by, I don't know if the last building that was torn down was in the same spot, but the factory was over where Walnut Woods is now.
Okay.
So, I'm assuming it was all together.
I remember the buildings being there,
I
or some
do
of them
too.
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see real quick.
So think about how many Potts or Boyertown caskets went into Pottstown burial vaults.
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
Probably a lot. Anyway.
So there was a famous inventor that purchased a mine in Boyertown to test out his inventions.
See, I never knew that he purchased this.
So you know the answer already.
I knew
right?
that Thomas
Because-
Edison came to this area
Right.
as part of these experiments that he was doing. I
Okay.
never realized that he actually owned land here.
And he actually did the experiments. Thomas Edison was the answer. And
Yes,
he
right.
actually did do experiments in the mine.
So he was experimenting on a machine that was magnetic to try to draw the iron out of the mine.
Mhm.
But according to what we have the information here is, I guess he purchased the mine and it must not have worked out because he did something to like sell things or something, so then he could get rid of it and move on.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah. So it was a bust.
yeah.
And with ventures that happens
Yeah.
a lot, I'm
Yep.
sure.
Well, we
Yeah.
do have information too up in the one exhibit. I guess he wasn't the most friendliest guy. So one of the little stories we have up on display was the hotel he was staying at. I guess some of the like big wig businessmen of the area wanted to meet with him. So they showed up at the hotel. They were like, "We're here to see Thomas Edison." So when they approached him saying these men want to meet with you, he was like, I'm not here to socialize. I'm here to do experiments. And like he blew him off and he like stormed out. So I guess he wasn't the friendliest guy. So
The Wizard of Menlo Park.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here you go, Matt. You know about the Opera House fire. Do you know the year? Do you know the year it happened?
1901.
Mm,
Am I close?
Well,
It was 19,
it
wasn't it?
was 19.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
and
I don't
you
know.
weren't that far off.
1902.
2.
We'll go with 8.
Okay.
January 13th.
1908.
Which ties into the reason, one of the compelling reasons that the Boyertown casket factory came into being. It was such an overwhelming disaster.
Right.
170.
People. Right.
It was, everybody in this town was impacted by it. There were not enough caskets.
Mm-hmm.
And the ramifications of that disaster just reverberated through the world. So
And we're still
was-
talking about it
it's
today.
horrifying.
Right.
So that's what started the casket factory?
That was a compelling reason why they realized nobody had any caskets.
I guess before that,
Wow.
it would be like your local furniture maker
Mhm.
also would make them.
Yeah.
So
Like your local carpenter. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, just give me glasses,
Interesting.
can make one for you.
I kind of looked and read a lot and stuff about the Opera House fire, and I never knew that.
Yep.
That's really cool.
You learn something
Very-
every day.
Every day, Matt. Every day. All right, so we're gonna take a look deeper into the Boyertown Area Historical Society,
Mhm.
and then of course we have events. We have events going on. I'm gonna rip through these, okay?
Yep.
Because you can easily go to my blog,
Yep.
and my website, and
Mm-hmm.
check them out for yourself.
And
you
it's
know?
up on the screen so
Yeah.
everybody knows how to find it.
Right. So they're not there. They come out every Thursday, morning-ish. And so yeah, weekly it comes out, subscribe, and make it a lot easier on you. It just comes right to your email then. Okay, so Friday, what do we have going on? We have First Friday in Boyertown, which is only the second one.
Yep.
This is the second happening for our First Friday in downtown Boyertown. That's going from 4 to 8. All the businesses are they're having specials. They're opening doors for people to come in,
and
you
it's
know.
peep themed.
And it's peep themed.
Yep, peep themed
I did not know. It's peep themed.
for Easter.
There
My
you go.
mind went right to Peep Show. But I didn't think that they were having those in
That's what they're,
Boyertown.
No,
no,
no.
they are calling it peep.
They're calling
show.
a Peep Show?
Yeah, but
Ah.
not like that.
Like a Times
Rated
Square
G.
one?
Only with kids.
Ah,
Rated
okay.
G.
All right.
But you know what? With the peep show and everything happening, you can go see the Easter Bunny at Flying Pig Studios, which
Mhm.
we interviewed before.
Yep.
The Easter Bunny's going to be there, and Bluey. I'm sure you don't know who Bluey is because I don't know who Bluey is.
I do.
But you know who
Well, I'm
Bluey
an
is?
Australian cattle dog, so he's
Okay.
an Australian cattle
Oh, is that
dog.
what he is?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What is this, a
It's
kid
an
show
anime.
character?
Yeah. He has his own show, Bluey. But the Easter Bunny's going to be there, and Bluey's just an extra added bonus. So you can go to the Flying Pig Studios to see Bluey during this time. I mean, to see the Easter Bunny. Also, the other farm brewery has the Manatawny 2 playing, which is a small version of the Manatawny Creek Ramblers.
Okay.
You know them. You've seen them before.
Yeah, I have.
Nice bluegrass band.
Mhm. Yeah.
really
I saw
good
them
to
at
see.
Pickfest.
Really good to see. So check them out. So, and then, like I said, the town's opened up to everybody to come and have a good time. And they're also doing a bingo. They're doing some kind of bingo thing where you have to go to different businesses
Yep.
and accomplish some task, which gives you a marking. And if you get, your bingo laid out, like diagonal, cross, up and down, you can go back to the, where are you going back to?
Is it building a better Boyertown?
No, it's art gallery.
Oh, Studio B.
Studio B.
Okay.
Yeah. You can go to Studio B and they will give you a prize. So all fun interactive stuff.
Yep.
Check that out. First Fridays. This is the only second one. It's going to grow and grow and grow. Let me see what else. Old House Arboretum is doing their electronic and metal recycling on Saturday. So free electronic and metal recycling.
Some be careful with
yeah,
that.
some of the things they charge
electronics,
for it. Yeah, like the
like
old
a
TVs and
TV.
stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can go on their website, and I link each event is linked directly to these people's website, so you can get all the information there. You can find out what costs, but most of the stuff, a lot of the
It's
stuff
free.
is free.
I
Yeah.
took a bunch of stuff there last year, but I did have an old television, and
Yeah.
that cost me, I think, $10 to
And
get
it's
rid
not
of.
going in a landfill.
Not going in a
And
landfill.
nobody else wants it.
And the money that they raise goes back to the Alt House Arboretum to
Awesome.
help them run that place. Which, if you haven't been there, it's a super nice place
So
to go.
cool. So cool. A lot of
Walking
kids,
trails, kids
a lot of kids
activities,
helping out and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a really neat place.
Super neat.
Yeah. And then of course Saturday and Sunday they're coming out swinging Spring Fling event.
Yep.
At the
2nd.
Boyertown Historical Society, and that's going from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. And you're going to do some. You're going to find some cool stuff under the dirt, right?
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Some nails, some old ones. That's my thing.
Put them on the forge, bend them back in shape, and then use them again.
Yeah, that's what they used to do.
You can have a whole box of cut nails. Charge double for them.
I do want to mention the American Legion Post 471 is having their vendor craft and bakers show, which is exactly what it is. It's just a show from where's the times 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday, where they're going to have vendors, crafters, and bakers. Check it out.
Makers.
And all that benefits the veteran families. So,
have you been up there to that Perkiomen Valley Brewery?
No, that's what I was just getting into. This is the last thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I saw it on your sheet.
Have you?
Yeah, I've been there
You're not
a couple of
supposed to be peeking
times.
at my sheet.
I am.
Okay.
How
is it?
It's good. Their beers are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're doing a.
It's in the old bank there at Green Lane.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's right.
I looked at the overhead view of it.
Right across the street from Chiara's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But they're doing what do they call it? They're doing a Saturday makers market, which is all things that people make. So you'll see people selling salsa, cheesecakes, cupcakes, crafts, woodworking, glasswork, pottery, all handmade stuff. And then you can grab a brew, walk around, do some shopping.
They had a brown ale that they brewed with hickory nuts. It was interesting.
Really good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
And
they have bands there.
Yeah.
They have bands there. That's why we went there.
Okay.
Because it was during the pandemic when you could only do outside stuff.
Right.
And we went up there because you could kind of spread out. And then we were watching the bands and stuff.
Nice.
And then walking at the park. So we take our walk at the park outside, spread out, and then go and get a beer and listen to the band for a little while.
Nice.
It's a nice place.
Yeah, that's why I saw this and I'm like, man, that's really cool. I've never been to that brewery, and I'm definitely going to check it out.
Check it out
soon. Yeah, and this is the perfect time to check it out.
Yeah, the early spring is a great beer drinking time of year. I like it.
Every time of year.
Well, that's true, but there's two times in particular.
No, I understand.
Early spring, I like that, and then the fall, another great beer drinking time.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. There's so much more on the website, on the blog. There's Easter egg hunts happening already this coming weekend. There's all sorts of stuff happening. So check it out. Lots of live music, which I'm always into.
Right on.
Right. So that's what's going down.
All right. So let's kick it down the road because we went a little bit long today, but thanks for staying with us. Today we were talking with Eugene Kehler from Pennsylvania Craftsmen Construction Company. He specializes in historic restoration and historic construction techniques. Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah.
And he'll build you a deck too if you want that. Told us a lot about his company and a lot of the local historic landmarks that he personally has helped to rebuild and stabilize. Right. We also spoke to Rachel and Barb from the Boyertown Area Historical Society.
President and vice president.
Vice president and president.
Yeah, the big shots are here tonight.
Yeah.
The big wigs.
Only
Only the top notch
And
here at
Gene
the
is
Cast
a
At
board member
Glocker.
also.
Yeah.
Right on. Check out their Facebook page and their website. It's super easy to find. You go to your
Yeah.
Google browser and you type in Boyertown Historical Society. It's the first thing that comes up.
Yeah.
Couldn't be easier to find. I'm Matt Green. I'm one of the co-hosts here at the Cast at Glocker. I'm a real estate agent working on 2 new listings coming down in Pottstown.
Both in Pottstown?
Both in Pottstown,
Cool.
one on South Street and one on Rosedale.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 nice listings. Tomorrow on my other podcast, the Porchcast Pottstown, we're going to be talking to Chief Mick Markovich, who is the chief of police in Pottstown. He's coming on to answer the question.
All questions, right?
As many as we can get through without disturbing the flow of the conversation.
Okay.
He has been presented with a lot of questions.
Already?
These are serious questions.
Yeah.
I mean, people really have some hard questions for him. It's not going to be a
But
softball.
he said, I will answer
yeah,
them all.
to
or
his
as much
credit,
as
he
can.
said, I'm willing to take it on. He's like, they can be good, they can be bad, they can be negative. If somebody wants to critique me or the police department, bring it on.
That's great.
I want to hear
That's
it.
awesome.
No, he's been honest to God, one of our most engaged guests. I've had 3 different conversations with him. He asked for the questions up front. He went and did research on the questions so he could actually bring facts to the table.
Oh, okay.
I mean, really wants to put out a good show.
Yeah.
He's going to be primarily answering the question, is crime on the rise in Pottstown? Is crime truly on the rise? We're going to find out tomorrow by talking to Chief Mick Markovich.
I would think not. That's my guess.
My guess.
I don't live in Pottstown.
Right. My guess is it's not either.
Okay.
Because overall in the United States, crime is down.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see. That's
so
tune in
tomorrow.
Tune in to find out that answer.
6 o'clock, Porchcast Pottstown. Mick Markovich gonna tell us what's up with
All
crime
right.
in Pottstown.
All right. Well, I'm Jeff Frederick, and I'm also co-host, and I'm a real estate agent as well with Glocker Realty. And you can find me, Jeff at Glocker. Google Jeff at Glocker. It's that easy.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Remember to like, share, comment on the show. Help us get the word out. We're trying to support our local businesses and organizations because they help us. We want to help them so that they can help you. Does that make sense?
Awesome.
I think it does.
Perfectly.
All right.
Perfectly makes sense.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This has been the Cast at Glocker.
See ya.